Hello, hello. Hi, Facebook friends. All right, I'm just going to take a moment to share this to the Take Action Challenge group, and then we are going to get started. Day 2, Take Action Challenge. Yes. All right. So if you are here, let me know that you can see me and hear me. Comment below. In the recent years, Facebook has gotten a little just tricky to share the lives. A little bit tricky, a little bit different. So apologies for being a few minutes late, but we're still gonna go. We're gonna get it, and we're gonna get going. All right. So let's go ahead and review yesterday. So if you're just joining for the first time, this is your first time tuning in live today, no worries. Never ever feel like you're behind. Never beat yourself up. Never tell yourself that you can't catch up, right? I want you to just be present today. And if this is your first day meeting me, you just came across this video, hello, welcome. My name's Gammy. I'm a life coach, business coach, intuitive, and I am here to help you. So, a little bit about my background. I used to be a health and fitness coach. Then I transitioned into a life coach. Now I'm also a business coach. So if you have any goals in any of these areas, health, wealth, right? Money, finances, business, career, general life, you just want to get better, you want to be happier, you want to create healthy habits, I can help you with that. And additionally, the way that I found life coaching for myself was through relationships. Yay, Ruby's here. Okay, good. So now I'm glad I actually have confirmation that people can see me and hear me. So I came to life coaching back in 2015 when I hired my first life coach. I was with a narcissist. If you're not sure what that means, it means that's somebody that only cares about themselves. They put you down, and typically you're with that type of person. At least in my case, I was with that type of person because I had really low self-worth. So I found a life coach, relationship coach. She helped me with my business. She helped me with my relationship. I ended up leaving that relationship, starting my own business after I got fired, and I made six figures in my business in 2023. So here we are celebrating those wins. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, we're just going to do a quick recap of yesterday. I want you to tell me why you joined the Take Action Challenge. And I want you to tell me what area of life that you want to work on. Those of you who tuned in live yesterday, we had some people focus on their business. We had some people focus on their health. So you let me know. Okay, D is here. Welcome. Beautiful. You let me know which area and which category we are focusing on, because I want you to remember anytime we're going to take action on anything, we need to stay focused on one or two categories at a time. Okay, we can have it all. We can do everything, but we cannot do everything all at once. So we want to stay really focused on one or two goals. And the purpose of this challenge is to walk you the whole way through this process. This is something that Tony Robbins teaches. And today we are on steps 3, 4, and 5. So yesterday, just to recap, we needed you to really tap into your desire, knowing what you want and why. And then we needed to tell the truth, why you are where you want to be. And remember, I'm giving away prizes. So the way to participate in this challenge is you've got to show up. Those of you who are here live and commenting, you get bonus points for being here live. Every live that you show up to, you're automatically getting 10 points. But here's the way you rack up more points. At the end of today's call, and at the end of yesterday's call, so you have 3 days, I should see 3 posts from you. Okay. So every day there's a homework. The way that you rack up your points is you actually engage with the homework. You post your takeaways. You post them in the Facebook group because it's private. All of that stuff is private. Remember, I'm a life coach. I'm here to support you no matter what you're going through. So you can share privately within that group. It's a safe place to share. When you post in the group, you're going to get 5 points. If you choose to share publicly on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and you tag me, you're going to get 10 points. And as you rack up those points, as I see the people engaging, those will be the people that will be winning my prizes, because I always want to reward action takers, people that are dedicated, people that are motivated, people that are showing up for the free thing. Because here's what's crazy, it's actually hard to show up for free things because the human brain says, I didn't pay for it. I have no skin in the game. I can just not do it. But I want you to pretend that you paid me $900 for this training, for this whole week that we're together. I want you to pretend that you paid $900, and I want you to show up getting $900 worth of value, whether you're applying that towards your fitness, whether you're applying that towards your business or your relationships. Okay. All right. Ruby is showing up here. She says, business, I want to create a new offer. Okay. Amazing. So here's what we're going to dive into today. We are on steps 3, 4, and 5 on this process. Yesterday's homework was finding out what you want and why. Then we tapped into what got you here right now, right? If you're a little bit overweight, if you don't have the money that you want in your bank account, it's being really honest with how you got here. Now we are tapping into the next 3 steps. Now, the first thing here is we need to create a daily practice for you. So for the next 3 days at least, we need to be hyper focused on this goal. Okay. So a daily practice is something that's going to shift you into motivation, because today is all about getting yourself motivated in order to take the action. Because most people stay stuck because they're stuck in, I don't know, I'm confused, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to do it, it's not going to work anyway. Somebody needs to tell me the right answer, right? So you need to think about, what daily practice do you need in order to show up, in order to shift your energy into momentum, into creation. And there is this thing that's called the vibrational scale of emotions, or map of consciousness, taught by David R. Hawkins. And it talks about our vibrational state, or a vibrational, each emotion has a vibration to it. So if you're confused, you're in a vibration of deflation. You're in a vibration of destruction. You're not in creation energy. So the way we get into creation energy, I want to create a new offer, says Ruby. The way that we get into creation energy is we tap into courage. And courage says, I'm willing to do the hard thing. I'm willing to look. I'm willing to fight, right? Because our brain is going to say, I don't know what to do next. And so what we want to do, and if you're taking notes, it's a really good opportunity to take notes on this, is there's a couple of questions to help shift your daily practice. So Ruby says, yes, Power versus Force, one of my favorite books. It's amazing. Thank you for typing that in the chat, Ruby. Yes. So think about this. What helps you shift your state? Is it going for a walk? Is it meditating? Is it doing a visualization, a gratitude, a journaling practice? I want you to just think in general. Think back to a time where you were feeling good, you were feeling positive, you were feeling motivated. What were you doing at that time? Go ahead and type that in the chat. And if you're not sure, if it's been a while since you felt great and motivated, I will give you some practices that you can do today, that you can start doing starting today, starting this week. But one of the questions I like to ask when my brain says, I don't know, is what do I know? And I'll give you an example here. I signed over probably 50, maybe 75, probably 50K. I've signed over 50K in contracts for retreats, for speaking, for training, for workshops. And every time I would get on the phone with the prospect, with the company, with the government entity that I was working with, I would say, what is your vision? Tell me what your vision is. I would create the vision with them. I would create the outline of the talk. And then I would say, okay, great. Let me get back to you. I'll send you a proposal within a week. Now, as soon as I got off the phone, every time my brain would say, you don't know what you're doing. What are you going to tell them? You don't know how to price this. And my mind would just go blank. And so in that process, what I would do is I'd do a quick breathing, right? Like a couple deep breaths. I would ground myself into my body. I would do a short meditation, 5 minutes or so, just breathing. I would set a timer. I would give myself 1 hour. And I would ask myself, what do I know? And then as soon as I asked myself that question, my brain would go to all the things I've taught before. Either maybe I did a live stream on it, maybe I read a book about it, maybe I heard somebody else talk about it. And I started to pull together all the things that I knew. And I gave myself an hour to finish it, which means at the end of that hour, no matter if it's not perfect, I decided it was done. Then I would give myself another 24 hours. I would revisit the proposal the next day and I would send it off. I would pick a price, I would pick a package, I would pick an outline, I'd put it together, I'd proofread it, then I would just decide this is what it is and this is done. And this is how I signed an additional $50,000 in revenue into my business. I literally had to make it all up. And if you have a business, that is what you're doing. You're making it up. You are getting paid to make it up. So, one thing that you can do every day, and this is for Ruby or anybody else, if you're wanting to create something, is what do I know? This is the same thing for health. If you have a health goal, what do I know? You might know, oh, my hips hurt, my low back hurts. Okay. I need to find a stretching routine, or I need to find something that's gentle on my hips that's low impact, right? So when you start answering the question, what do I know? It's going to lead you in the direction of you taking action on your goal, right? Lot of times, especially both in our business and with our bodies, we can become discouraged. We can say, I don't know how, or, I'm just not feeling good in my body and I don't have energy. I just can't even work out. You want to start with, what do I know? What I know is I can get some tennis shoes and start walking. What I know is, right? And for you, Ruby, you can start thinking about, what transformation do I want to give the people? I want to create a new offer. What is the transformation that I want to give to them? And start there, because you know that you're really good at certain transformations and you know that your people are usually asking you for something. So you can think about, what do I know? Okay. Now, the second part of this is your daily practice, is creating a belief plan. So I know all of this is about action, but I want you to realize that the only reason you don't take action is because of what you're thinking. And we touched on this a little bit yesterday, but if you don't think that working out is going to change your physique or make you feel healthier, or that eating healthy foods is going to make you feel better or help you reach your health goals, you're just not going to do it. If you think I have to have the chocolate cake, there's no way I could go without having wine, then you won't be able to make the changes. So you've got to think, okay, if I already had the result, if I was already at my ideal fitness level, body shape, if I was already launched my program, if I was already making the money I wanted to make, what would I be thinking and believing about myself? And we want to start. This is what I would consider your daily practice, is you start with your belief plan. What do I need to think? What do I need to believe in order to achieve this goal? And yesterday, we simply tapped into possibility. It is possible. It is possible that I can reach this goal. When you tap into possibility, and then you also tell yourself it's worth it. Like, the process of me doing this goal, going after this thing, is worth it. It's automatically going to tap you into your resourcefulness. So you want to consider, what do I want to believe today? What do I want to practice believing? It could be simple. It could be one thought, or it could be multiple thoughts. It depends on how you work. The way I like to do this is actually get with my journal every morning and write down the things I want to believe, and write them down in the first person as if they're already happening. So I'll write down something like, I'm so glad that clients are seeking me out. It feels so good to be a 200K coach. That's my next goal. I'm working on multiple six figures now. So every day I'm stepping into the self concept of 200K. What does she think? How does she feel? What actions does she take? What I know is that she shows up, right? So if she has a challenge, like today, she's showing up for the challenge. She's sending out the email. She's getting it done. She's staying up late if she needs to, because she is committed to getting it done. She has the self-care. She still does meditation. Her self-care is really important. She works out, right? Like, I have this identity that I've created, and these beliefs I've created around the results. So for you, think about, if you already had the thing done, what would you be thinking? How would you be feeling? And just go ahead and type that intentional thought in the chat. All right. So that was step number 3. Yesterday we did step number 2. So step number 3 is having a daily practice. A daily practice is going to shift your state and have you focused on the goal. I'll give you another thing. I did this is what helped me to get to 6 figures. So I did this every night before bed because I needed to prove to myself that I could hold 18 clients because 18 clients was the thing that got me to my goal. So at night in my journal, I would say, I'm so grateful now that I signed 5 new clients. I received $15,000. I'm so grateful that I had 5 consults this week. Whatever the number was, I just wrote it down in my journal as if it already happened. And then I took my calendar every night and I wrote out, here's where I would put this client, here's where I'd put this client, here's where I'd put this client. And I showed my brain, look, you do indeed have 10 hours available for 10 additional clients. So I gave myself that daily practice to literally convince my brain, you have space on your calendar for this. Because a lot of times, if we are reaching a monetary goal or a physical goal, there's something about the way that we're using our time that our brain is just not tuned in on. So, using this as a daily practice, look, I do have time to meal prep. Look, I do have time to go for a walk. Look, I do have time to go to the gym. If you start showing your brain that, your brain will be more likely to get on board. Yes. Ruby says feeling expansive. Yes. And so think about feeling expansive. Think about what that would look like in creating your program. And we can think about, okay, what are the actions that I want to take? And for you, Ruby, I'll just give you a little bit of coaching here. One of the amazing things we can do if we're looking to make a new program is to go out there and have 10 to 20 conversations with people and just ask your audience. Just ask your audience, hey, what do you want? I'm wanting to create a program. I just want your feedback. Would you want to talk to me about it? That could be something that could get your juices flowing, especially as a manny-gen. Having those conversations back and forth is really useful. I do that anytime I want to get re-inspired in my business. I just start having conversations with people. So that is a tip for you, Ruby. All right. So now we're on to step number 4. Step number 4 in this process to reaching your goals, taking action, is to measure. Okay? To measure it. So tracking your progress. Maybe it's tracking your macros, tracking your walking steps, your sleep, tracking your business, your sales. How many networking events did you go to? How many sales conversations are you having? How many people are you meeting? How many emails are you sending out? How many calls to action, right? Like how many offers have you actually sent out to say, hey, I have this thing. Do you want to buy it? How many cold emails? How many pitches have I sent out? So I want you to think about measuring. And I just gave a talk on this last week, and I found this to be very interesting. I was talking to a room full of relatively new entrepreneurs, and I asked them to raise their hand if they wanted to make 6 figures, if they want to make $100,000 in their business. And then I asked them, do you know how much money it is per month for you to get to $100,000? And I'm just going to wait to see if anybody knows that answer. How much money is it each month to get to $100,000? And most of you will not have it at the top of your head. You can do the math too. But the reason I know that people are not believing that they can achieve it is that they actually didn't even take the time to do the math to figure out what the number was. It's $8,000, right? So the reason we go into measuring is because that is another way of proving to your brain that it is possible, right? If you're truly going after a 100K business, you would want to know that that's $8,000 a month. Then you would want to do the math to break it down to say, okay, how many clients do I need? How many orders do I need? How many pitches do I need to make? How many digital products do I need to sell in order to reach $8,000 per month? This is why measuring is so important. The second thing with measuring is, where are you right now in your revenue? Are you at 4K? If so, pretty easy. All you need to do is double your revenue. Are you at $600 a month? Are you at $1,000 a month? This is important information to know. And remember, We talked about yesterday of you becoming the person who has the result. So think about a six-figure earner. They have a tracker because they're consistently focused on sales and growth and revenue, which means they look at their numbers. So if you want to become the person who makes more money, you want to become the person who tracks your money. So you can start here tracking your incoming sales every dollar, right? Even if it's $27, tracking that on a spreadsheet to see where you are at. And then you can start doing projections, running the numbers to find out how many more things do I need to sell in order to reach my goal. Okay, so this is why measurement is so important, because something that gets measured means that we're paying attention to it. If we ignore it, then our brain is not going to work to solve the problem, right? If you want to lose weight or gain muscle or become more active or be able to walk for 5 miles, you want to start tracking how many steps am I getting each day. You want to start setting up a target. If you're at 2,000 steps a day, you want to set that target to 4,000 steps a day. Then you move it up to 6K a day. Then you move it up to 10K a day. And you allow the measurement to drive your progress so that you can take action. Yes. Ruby says, I didn't know without doing the math. Me either, Ruby. I remember at the beginning of my business, I didn't know these numbers. But I realized this because I was thinking 100K was so far away. So I didn't even bother doing the math. So whatever your goal is, you want to do the math. Same thing with if you have a weight loss goal or a walking goal or a fitness goal. You want to set up over the next 6 months, what do I want to achieve? What are those targets that I want to do, right? So maybe it's walking 3 days a week. Maybe it's lifting weights 3 days a week. Maybe it is doing yoga 5 days a week, whatever it is, but you have to track it in order for it to count. And the reason why is because there's a part inside our brain called the reticular activating system, or the RAS, RAS. And you've heard people say this: what you focus on is what you find. What you focus on grows. If you focus on all the limitations, all the ways you can't do it, all the ways it's out of your control, all the negativity, you're just going to get more and more of that, and you're going to continue to stay stuck. If you focus on possibility, if you focus on how good it will feel to have $8,000 in your business bank account, all the ways that you would spend that money, all the ways that you would invest that money, all the ways that you would give back with that money, you create a desire, and then you create an energy that enables you to go out and take the actions that enables you to create that result. So it's the same thing. We've got to track it and measure it so that we focus on it. And this is how people will go an entire year without getting their results, because they're kind of ignoring looking at their bank account because they're having so much shame. They're having so many feelings. So I get it. Measuring is going to bring up feelings, but this is part of the challenge, right? Everybody knows what to do. Most of the time, you can go to ChatGPT, you can find a YouTube video, you can do a free training just like this, and you know what to do. But the reason you're not doing it is because of the way you're thinking, how much energy you have in your body, what fear of failure you have there. Your fear is the thing that gets in the way. So we want to increase the desire. We want to start measuring and tracking. Then we want to do the damn thing and take the action. And then this is step number 5. We always want to celebrate every tiny, small action that we take. So in my coaching, my one-on-one coaching, what I always do when I first start off with my clients is we have them celebrate 3 wins every single week. 3 wins. And in the beginning, my clients struggle with this, right? They're like, I don't know, like I really should be doing more. And they're usually stuck in this should spiral of I should be working out more. I should be eating healthier. I should be doing more marketing for my business. And when they think they should be doing something that they're not, the feeling that they have is shame. And when you feel shameful, your action is you want to hide. You want to hide, you want to avoid. And then the result is you do nothing. You do nothing for your business. You do nothing for your health. You do nothing for your goal. So what I want you to consider is I am proud of my progress. If you start to look for I am proud of my progress, even just today, if you're watching us live or you're watching the replay, hashtag replay, You are doing something for your goal. You are doing something towards the attainment of that goal. But the celebration is so important because the more you celebrate, the more momentum you gain. In the beginning of working with my clients, they have a really hard time with this. And then by about the halfway mark of our coaching, about 3 months in, they're like, oh, here are my 3 wins. Here are my 3 wins. This is what I need coaching on. And I feel their energy start to pick up. By the end of our coaching after 6 months, they have like 6 wins. They're like, I have another win. I have another win. I have another win. And I'm like, of course you do, because we've trained the brain to look at your wins and your progress. The reason why this is important, especially, I mean, this is true in all areas, right? In relationships, in health, and in business. You have to, people say this, it's so cliche, but it's true. You have to enjoy the process. You have to enjoy the journey of who you're becoming and the skills that you're creating as you're doing this process. So, for example, in relationship, I've been working with a relationship coach basically since I got married. And I'll tell you why. The reason is because I just wanted a husband. I wanted to manifest it. And I did. I manifested an amazing, loving husband. And what I also manifested with that was a safe container to process all of my childhood trauma. It's like, oh, all of these relationship issues I didn't deal with learned how to be unpacked in the container of marriage. I didn't learn how to be a wife. I never had that on my vision board. My vision board was to be married, but I didn't realize what it meant to be a wife, to have that identity. So I had to celebrate every small step and progress. And when I look back at my, like the way I showed up in relationships 15 years ago, is I just didn't talk to the person. I didn't have any type of emotional intimacy. I kept myself very guarded. I presented myself as perfect. If there was ever anything wrong, I didn't say anything. And now, 15 years later, after working with multiple relationship coaches, I celebrate my ability to have challenging conversations, to be open, to speak my truth, no matter what the other person says or does. Now I watch as I hold space for somebody else's experience. They're allowed to have their emotions, they're allowed to have their thoughts, and that's okay. I've learned how to stop being defensive and proving and trying to be right in relationship. I can just let them have their perspective and I can have my perspective. Now, the reason I bring this up is because it doesn't mean things are perfect. It doesn't mean things are rosy and sunshines all the time. Like, right? And sometimes my brain is like, I haven't made a lot of progress. Like, I should have way more peace than this. And really, the progress is in my ability to have these conversations that have never been had before. So you have to be focusing on the progress, the process, the who you're becoming, and not focus on, I just want it to be done. I want it to be perfect. There is no done. There is no perfect. We just have to be in it and continuously celebrate the progress of it. So that was the example for relationship. Now we're talking about celebrating health. Health is the same exact way. I've coached so many clients on this. And what I tell them, especially if you're running a business and trying to take care of your health at the same time, I want you to remember that our physical health is based off of our stress response and our security and safety. So if you experience financial challenges in your business, or you experience rejection and fear and uncertainty, most likely this will show up somewhere in your physical body. It can show up in the form of weight gain. It can show up in the form of high cortisol, right? It's a stress response of when you take on a big goal like running a business. So the first thing we do when we have a health goal is we seek to lower those stress levels. We seek to create safety in the physical body. And as you're doing this, this is what I did all of the last 2 years. I basically opened myself up to be really triggered. I went after really big goals. I experienced panic attacks and rejection sensitivity and like getting rejected and feeling like I was failing and feeling so bad about it, right? And my body, in order to protect me, increased its fight or flight, it's cortisol. It increased the inflammation to say, we're not safe. And I did a lot of work through hypnotherapy, through Pilates, through yoga, through functional medicine, through leisure walking, right? Like I did a lot of things to create safety in my body. And it took me about a year and a half to get me to the point where I can go back to the gym and lift heavy how I want to lift. And I say this to say, you have to celebrate the process and the progress that you're in and extend the timeline. This goes for your health. This also goes for your business, right? This is really important too for business. Most of you want more money than you have, right? Don't we all? But hands up if you want more money than you have in your business. However, this is how I teach my clients about money. If you made $27 today from like a low ticket offer, if you made $200 today from somebody selling you for like an hour of your time, maybe your goal is 10K a month. And you're like, well, what does $200 have to do with it? What does $27 going to do? Remember that 27 plus 200 plus 1,000 plus another 200, right? All of those small sums of money add up to 10K eventually. So this goes back to tracking. You want to track it and you want to celebrate it as it comes in. Because if you're just telling the universe all the time, this isn't good enough, I want more. This isn't good enough, I want more. Not only are you telling the universe that you're not ready to receive all of this divine abundance, all of these clients, all of this money pouring in, you're also in this energy of entitlement, which your clients can feel. Basically, you're saying to your clients, thanks, but no thanks. I don't want your $200. I want 10K. And you're telling them, like, I don't really want to work. This is subconscious, right? It's just energy. You're telling them, I don't want to work with you. You're not paying me enough. I don't even care, right? Like, that's like that bratty energy behind the scenes that we all get into. So if you're celebrating, thank you for reaching out for me for a consult. Thank you for asking me if I can help you. Thank you for paying me even at my lowest package. And if you can start to get back into the miracle of you being a human in a physical body, like if you think about the miracle of you being a human in a physical body, being able to walk and move and breathe in this lifetime, the miracle of your health and wanting to cultivate that health, and that you're worthy of the effort and time to put into your physical health, and you're worthy of the time, the effort, the celebration of you deciding I'm going to celebrate every conversation I have with a potential client. I'm going to celebrate every time I go out there and make a post and it feels like I'm failing. The more you can stay in celebration, the more momentum you can have. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go into some tangibles in a little bit, but I want to see, tell me what is coming up for you. And also tell me, since the beginning of this week, you don't even have to have been participating in the challenge, but since the beginning of this week, what do you have to celebrate? Type 3 things into the chat, and I'm going to help you with this because sometimes it feels hard if you're not used to celebrating, but I want you to share 3 things, and I'll start by sharing mine. So one of the things I've done is I've actively started engaging in one of my business coaching groups. So I have lifetime access to one of these business coaching groups. I made 6 figures in that group. And then I kind of like graduated. I thought I didn't need the group. Like I felt like it was very basic. It was for beginners. But I realized the way I made 100K in that group was by engaging. I would go in, I would post several times a week. I would focus on my wins. I would do my evaluations. And so for me, a win is going back and consistently engaging in that group, saying, hey, here's the progress I've seen in the last quarter. Here's what I've been doing since January. Here's the results that I created. So celebrating in that group. The second thing is evaluating. So one of the things that has created so much success for me in my business and also with my health is evaluating what worked, what didn't work, what will I do differently. And a lot of times the reason we don't evaluate is because of the shame we feel. We feel like, oh, I'm a failure. Oh, I'm disappointed. It didn't work out how I wanted it to. But what I do now, what I know about me is I'm successful when I run towards the evaluation. So let's say I have a retreat that I facilitated and I walk away from the retreat just feeling like, oh my gosh, I did a bad job. They didn't like it. I should have changed this. I should have done that. What I do now is I sit down and evaluate. Here's what worked. Here's what didn't work. Here's what I'll do differently. And every time I do that, that guarantees another 10K retreat on the other side of that. If you have a sales conversation with somebody and they'd say no, they don't want to work with you, you evaluate what worked, what didn't work, what would I do differently. Then you're ready for the next sales conversation, which means every time you evaluate, you're getting value And every time you evaluate, you're able to apply that to the next conversation. And that next conversation could be a yes. That next conversation can be a win. That next conversation can be a breakthrough for you. So I'm celebrating that I like went back to evaluating. And then thirdly, I'm celebrating that I have hired a semi-private yoga instructor to come to my neighborhood. He just came to my neighborhood this morning, which is why I'm like, I'm a little groggy, I'm a little tired, but I wanted to get up early, do sunrise yoga, set a beautiful intention, like move my body in a beautiful way. And that is something I've initiated. I've been wanting that for so long, and it feels so abundant to have that. So I have this weekly practice where I get to do yoga in the morning with an amazing facilitator, and it feels so abundant for me to be able to do that. So those are my three things. All right, type in the chat what your three things are. And if you're playing along with the replay, do it. Do not let yourself not do this. And here's what I say. If your brain is like, I do not have three things, or it's impossible. I do not have three things to celebrate. Here's what my answer is to that. Write 10 things. Because if your brain is having that hard of a time, that means you have to develop the muscle of gratitude. You have to develop the muscle of celebration. And the only way to do that is through more practice. So type in the three things. And if you're having a hard time, type in 10 things. I won't make you type in 10 things, but go to your journal and write 10 things. Okay. Bree says, I listened to my body and slowed down. Yes, that is a win, because every time we don't do that, we end up being on the verge of burnout. Okay. Bree says, I made offers online. Amazing. Bree, do you know how many offers you made? That would be a really good tracking tool to say, like, did I make 2? Did I make 5? And then once you start tracking, you can start correlating. Okay, when I make 10 offers a week on stories, I get 1 consult. You can start to play with the numbers, right? A lot of you are not getting results simply because of numbers and because what you tell yourself about the numbers. Ah, beautiful. Bree says, meditate with the intention of gratitude. I love this. And I really like how you said this too, Bree. I'm meditating with the intention of gratitude. Sometimes when we're not at our goals, sometimes when we're in stress or we're in fight or flight, it's really hard to feel gratitude. But if you are just open and you have the intention of feeling gratitude, that's the beginning of actually tapping into a gratitude. Yes. Okay. Bree says, oh no, I didn't track, but I will start. Yes, I think it's very interesting because this is how we reverse engineer our results, right? So if you, let's say you want, and you can tell me your actual goals if you want to, Bree, but let's say you want to sign 5 new clients this month. And then you think, okay, if I want to sign 5 new clients this month, how many consults would I need to have in order to sign 5? Probably for most people, you're going to have 10 consults, maybe 7 consults, right? Like if you have a 50% close rate, 60%, you're going to have to talk to at least 7, 8 people. So then you have to think, okay, how many offers, how many times would I need to say, hey, get on a consult? How many times do I think I would need to do that in order to inspire 8 people to reach out to me? And sometimes we can get stuck in this. So if you're getting stuck in this, I invite you to think of all the things I could do, all the things I could say in order to inspire someone into action. And I'll give you this example. I was just working with a client who is promoting an event. And I told her, I was like, listen, the event's 2 weeks away. Most people wait, until the last minute to get their tickets. But I said, studies show that it takes 27 to 36 repetitions, like marketing wise, they need to see it 27 to 36 times in order for them to take action. And so I gave her a target. I said, okay, just set a goal of sharing this 27 times over the next 2 weeks. But here's the problem. And here's where evaluation comes in for business. So if you just share, like let's say you have an event or you have a free consult and you just share and it says, book a free consult, book a free consult, book a free consult, right? Like that literally sounds like a parrot. That sounds like very boring that people are going to stop listening to it. So you want to answer the question, what's in it for me? What's in it for them, right? Like what is in it for me? So book a free consult. Why? Oh, because you're wasting so much time. You're always late. You're always stressed because your house is a mess. You're so cluttered. book a free consult so I can help you live stress-free and be on time. So you're selling the value of the consult. You're saying it in a different way. You're getting really curious, like what stops people from taking action? And then you're helping them to take action. You're helping to inspire them into action. So yes, we're tracking the number of consults. But the other thing I would say, anybody who has a sales goal and our marketing goal is every day, one of your daily practices is what is stopping somebody from booking a consult with me today? What is stopping someone from taking action today? What are their thoughts? What are their feelings? What are their barriers? What are their limitations? And then your job is to address all of those in your marketing over and over and over again. And I'll give you an example. This is such a great example. I shared this at my mastermind that I invested in. So I invested in a $25,000 mastermind with my coach. It's the biggest investment that I ever made. It was so scary, but it was so empowering because I felt like I'm doing this. Like I'm figuring out how to make 200K and I'm willing to put the money into this. So I was so proud of myself the first time I did this. And as I stood up at that event and I was sharing with her, with my coach, we were talking about sales, we were talking about marketing, and I was talking about how I found her. So I found her back in 2019, and I listened to her podcast for an entire year, for about 18 months, maybe almost 22 months. So I listened to her podcast, consumed everything she put out, joined her email list, and she had a foundational offer that was $2,000. It took me over a year and a half to sign up for her first offer for $2,000, not because it was too expensive, but because the objection in my brain was, she's going to make me sell one offer. She's going to tell me what to do. I don't want to listen to her. I want to do it my way. So I thought that working with that coach was going to be very rigid. She's going to make me do it her way. I have to listen to her and I don't want to. That was my objection the entire time. Then finally, when I made that first investment with her, my thought was, I'm willing to listen to her now. It's so painful. Me trying to do it my way is not working. I'm ready to listen to her now. So that's how I made my first $2,000 investment. Okay. Now, fast forward. I was in her program from 2021, 2022, and then 2023. So 3 years I was in that program. She was selling this other program for $25,000. And I was a no. I was like, absolutely not. $25,000 is ridiculous. This is a no for me. I will never do this. Who does that? That's crazy. That is too much money. No way. And so for 3 years, I stayed on her email list. I stayed on her wait list. She emailed about the mastermind 2 times a year. I read all the emails. And every time I was like, no, 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 no. But I opened every email. I read everything. She kept giving value. She kept telling me more. She kept changing my mindset until eventually I was a yes. So the question becomes, are you willing to work at changing someone's mind for 3 years so that they become your client? Because that's what my coach was willing to do. She was willing to send me email after email after email. I was a no the entire time. I was not going to invest. Absolutely not. No way. I was a no until one day I was a yes. And the thing that shifted for me was I had $4,000 in my bank account. I had just signed some clients. So I had just signed like 25K in business. I had $4,000 in my bank account. She had a payment plan and I was able to make my first payment. And so what shifted for me was maybe I can do this. Maybe I can make this investment. And then it was like, well, I have the money now. I might as well do it now. And as soon as I had that transition, within 2 weeks, I was in the mastermind, committed, made my payment. Yes. So anybody who's in business, this is your job every day to get up, to have a daily practice, to get yourself in the mindset, to focus on your clients, to focus on the goal, to focus on their problems, not your problems, not your money problem, but focusing on what problem are you solving for them. And then you have to get yourself up to go to work, right? To do the activities and measure those activities. Am I sending emails? Am I making offers? Am I offering value? And then you track the results. Did I get the result I wanted? Did I sign the client? Did I reach the money? Did I get the revenue that I wanted? Right? And if it's your health goal, it's the same thing. You got to be working hard on your health to think different thoughts, to show up differently, so that you take different actions in your health. You start measuring them differently. You start changing your beliefs. You probably, if you have a health goal, most people, and I say you, as in me too, most people, if we have health challenges, especially specifically with weight, we probably have some inflammation. So there's probably some detox that needs to happen. We also probably have some emotional detox going on, right? We're avoiding our emotions when we're eating. We might be overeating. We might be eating packaged foods. So you can start to assess, like, what are some things that I can do for my health to help me to reach those targets? Okay. All right. So here's what I'm going to finish off with for you today, right? This is your homework today. Number one, what's your daily practice going to be? What's your daily practice that's going to help you focus on the goal? You tell me. And you can write this. You can do it in the Facebook group after, or if you want 10 points, post publicly. Do a post to your audience or to your personal profile that just says, hey, I'm doing this challenge. I'm challenging myself to take action. Here's what my takeaway was from today. Here's what I'm learning. And just let it be a motivational post to share and inspire others, but you're also doing it for you. And if you do that, tag me at Cami Kennedy. You can do it on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. You will get 10 points for that. All right. So step one, what's your daily practice going to be? Step two, what do you need to measure? Is it revenue? Is it your steps? Is it your macronutrients? Is it your protein? Is it how many offers you're making? Let's get clear. Like, is it your money? What is the thing that you need to track? Let's decide what that is. And then number three, as always, every single day, you should be at least celebrating yourself for one thing. And by the end of every week, you should be celebrating yourself for three things. So that is your homework for today. All right. Do we have any questions on today's training? Tell me what your main takeaway was. And then I'll announce today's prize. So remember, you have until April 20th, which is Sunday, to do your homework, to make your post, to get your points. So again, if you're watching on replay or you're watching these all back to back and you're just cramming them all in, no worries. Your goal here for this challenge is to make 3 posts, right? You can make them inside the Facebook group. You can make them outside the Facebook group. Each post is focused on the topic of the day. So yesterday was focused on those first initial parts. What do you want and why? And getting unstuck. Today is about getting motivated to take the action. And then tomorrow we're going to create our massive action plan. So the more you post, the more you engage, the more you tag me, the more points you're going to get. And then I'm giving away over $1,000 worth of prizes. And I'll announce that on the 20th. So you have up until the 20th, but I would just say, get it done today. Because when you get it done today, you're affirming, this is what Tony Robbins says, never leave the sight of setting a goal without doing something towards its attainment. So if you're literally taking part in a take action challenge, your actual job as part of this free challenge is to take action. And the action is to make a post, because I won't know what you're doing unless you tag me, right? That's a way for us to be accountable towards each other. This is what it feels like to have a coach. Your coach is in your business. Your coach is saying, hey, you told me you were going to do this. Your coach holds you accountable for this. So that's what I want to do for you today, because I set the intention here that I want to give $900 worth of value to you. I want you to pretend like you paid for this, which means I want you to go out there and create $900 worth of results, right? Going out there, signing a client, getting a speaking gig, going out there, signing up for something health-wise, like doing something towards the attainment of your goals. Okay. And then the thing I'm giving away for today, for day 2, is I will give away a free social media audit. So this means you're going to send me your links. I'm going to go in and I'm going to say, okay, this is what I see. This is how you're thinking. This is how you're feeling. I'll question it. I'll break it down and I'll say, okay, here's what would be more clear. And all I'm doing is looking for the gaps, because as a life and business coach, my job is to help you make it easy for your clients to work with you. So I will do a social media audit for you. Make sure that your goals are represented on your social media page. And that is completely free. This is a $250 value. So this is what you get for day 2. All right. Bree says, main takeaway, it's my job to show up to change my potential client's mind. Yes. And Bree, I'll even give you a better thought, one that I find really useful. My client is only one thought away from paying me today. My client is only one thought away from paying me today. And I gave you that demonstration how I invested $25,000 in my coach. I was a no, absolutely not. That's too expensive. And the only thought that I needed to think that changed my mind was maybe it's possible. Maybe I can afford it. Maybe I can do it. And as soon as I had that thought, I looked at my bank account and I was like, wait a minute, she has a payment plan. I can do this. So it's actually not as hard as you think. It's just one thought. And your job is to give them the one thought, right? Through your sales, through your marketing, through your emails, through the way that you show up, through, of course, this is possible for you. Of course, I can help you. Of course, today is the day that you want to get started. Okay. Yes. Amazing. Ruby says, so many gems. I feel like I need to watch the replay. Thank you. You're so welcome. Replay will be up and available in the Facebook group and also here on Facebook, and you will get it in your email. All right, everyone. I'll see everybody tomorrow, Thursday, April 17th at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody with their posts, with their celebrations, with their takeaways. Get out there and take the actions. All right. Bye, everyone.